Welcome to the Reactive Corrosion channel. My name is احتشام زاده. I'm a researcher in the field of corrosion and protection of materials. Chapter 10, Section 9, Corrosion Management. Continual Improvement. The reference is Corrosion Management System Framework and Guidance from NACE International. What's a CMS? A corrosion management program, sometimes called Corrosion Management System (CMS), is the documented set of processes and procedures required for planning, executing, and continually improving the ability of an organization to manage the threat of corrosion for existing and future assets and asset systems. This video explains continual improvement in 6 sections. 1. General aspects and guidance. 2. Management review and CMS audits. 3. Addressing findings and recommended actions. 4. Learning from events. 5. Management of change. 6. Monitoring and measurement. 1. General and guidance. Organizations shall plan, manage, and take appropriate measures to enable the continual improvement of the CMS as well as associated procedures and processes. Both the effectiveness of the CMS and its continued relevance to the company's organizational goals and objectives should be evaluated through this process. Improvements may take the form of changes to the overall policy, the organization objectives for corrosion management, as well as the individual elements of the CMS and their associated processes and procedures. The continual improvement process is an integral part of CMS and should include management's commitment to monitor and evaluate performance measures. The continual improvement process should follow the Plan, Do, Check, Act (PDCA) model. This continuous process of identifying and analyzing the CMS, plan, developing ways to address issues, do, measuring the effectiveness of actions, check, and implementing solutions, act, should be utilized to verify the CMS remains relevant to the business, is achieving its goal of promoting integrity, and is being improved and enhanced as needed. The most effective way to continuously improve the CMS is to use a combination of both formal and informal processes to systematically review the existing CMS. This information can then be used to measure performance against the requirements of the management system. The following types of processes and activities will have an impact on the ability to continually improve the CMS. 1. Management review and CMS audits. 2. Control of non-conformance. 3. Learning from events. 4. Management of change. 5. Monitoring and measurement. 2. Management review and CMS audits. The effectiveness of the CMS shall be continually reviewed and improved through systematic management reviews and audits of the CMS. The processes to be used for each of these activities shall be documented as part of the CMS, along with requirements for reassessment intervals. This section is discussed in 3 aspects. 1. Management review. 2. CMS audit. 3. Review and audit reports. Management review. Management reviews shall be undertaken as set out in Section 0 of this document and should be carried out in a way that will verify the following. 1. The corrosion management policy still reflects the organization's position on maintaining integrity over the life cycle of assets. 2. The corrosion management objectives continue to support the overall organizational objectives. 3. The CMS reflects current regulatory requirements and recognized and generally accepted good industry practices. 4. Management supports the CMS. 5. Management reviews are conducted at a defined frequency and actions are undertaken to address findings. 6. Data are analyzed in a way that will identify trends and facilitate an appropriate response to corrosion issues. 7. Previous CMS audit action items have been closed or are in the process of being addressed. 8. The organization is in conformance with the CMS. 9. The effectiveness of the CMS is being evaluated. 10. Management review minutes are circulated to appropriate personnel. 11. The management of change process is used to facilitate the appropriate management of changes to the CMS. CMS Audit. An audit process shall be in place to verify that the organization is evaluating the performance of the CMS. For each CMS audit, a written plan or document should include the scope of the audit, people or positions to be interviewed, checklists or listing of documents to be reviewed, and other relevant information that will enable the auditor, audit team, and audit organizer to have a common understanding of the audit's purpose. This information may be stated in a terms of reference, TOR document, proposal, audit protocol, or similar and should be fit for purpose, as determined by the scope and scale of the audit. Guidance. Careful consideration should be given to the type of audit conducted and the intended outputs of each audit. Audits of the CMS can be conducted by an internal audit function such as a self-assessment or corporate audit, or by a third-party auditor or consultant. The CMS can also be evaluated in its entirety or by elements. However, during each audit cycle, the CMS audit should determine, at a minimum, if the following are occurring. 1. The corrosion management policy is understood throughout the organization. 2. Staff understand their role in achieving the corrosion management objectives. 3. The written CMS is comprehensive and relevant to the organization's business and assets. 4. The requirements of the CMS are being met as intended. 5. Inspections are conducted on a regular basis and actions are undertaken to address findings. 6. Preventive actions are taken to minimize the likelihood of foreseeable corrosion issues. 7. Corrective actions are taken to minimize the likelihood of a similar corrosion issue being repeated. 8. Corrosion issues are being addressed in a timely manner. 9. Lessons learned and corrosion management concerns are circulated to appropriate personnel. 10. Appropriate training is being done to enable conformance to the CMS. 11. The management of change process is used to facilitate appropriate management of changes to the CMS. Review and audit reports. The CMS shall require findings or results of audits and management reviews to be reported in an appropriate form and communicated to appropriate personnel. Requirements for document control and retention time are addressed in the video titled Chapter 10, Section 4, Control of Corrosion Management System Documents and Records, or number E31. 3. Addressing findings and recommended actions. Documented procedures shall be established and maintained as part of the CMS to address non-conformances in an appropriate manner. Organizations should verify that procedures address the following. 1. Identifying and investigating non-conformances. 2. Determining causes of non-conformances. 3. Determining which types of actions should be implemented, corrective or preventive. 4. Preventing recurrence of non-conformances. 5. Documenting preventive and corrective actions to be taken. 6. Implementing actions. 7. Promoting appropriate communication. 8. Reviewing the effectiveness of actions following implementation. Both corrective and preventive actions may be used as appropriate. Guidance. Corrective actions should be taken to address findings such as those resulting from incident investigations, audits, and management review activities. Preventive actions should be taken in response to proactive activities such as risk assessments and near misses. Both corrective and preventive actions may take the form of, for example, revisions to procedures, development of new procedures, additional oversight, etc., all of which should be implemented as appropriate following the management of change requirements. 4. Learning from events. Learning from events is critical to the continual improvement of the CMS. Formal, consistent, standard processes such as incident investigations shall be used to verify that a continuous improvement loop is in place to learn from events. In addition to formal processes, informal opportunities such as employee concerns and impromptu feedback should be utilized in an appropriate manner to improve the CMS. Guidance. The ultimate goal of learning from events should be to identify necessary improvements to the CMS and associated processes and procedures. Examples of documents or activities that may be impacted include 1. The written CMS documents. 2. Material specifications and requirements. 3. Personal qualifications, competence, and oversight. 4. Organization procedures for construction, installation, testing, and inspection. 5. Inspection and preventive maintenance schedules. 6. Operating philosophy and operating procedures. In all cases, when changes are made to the CMS, those changes shall be managed in accordance with the management of change requirements. Reactive learnings. The CMS shall include a process for evaluating incidents and events related to corrosion in a manner that will promote determination of the root cause of the event, incorporation of the findings into the CMS, and communication of important information to employees to maximize the likelihood that corrosion issues are not repeated. If the root cause of a failure of an asset is determined to be corrosion, actions should be taken to determine if a similar situation could occur given the existing CMS and its associated processes and procedures. All efforts should be taken to improve the CMS, as well as related procedures and processes. Proactive learnings. Proactive activities such as near-miss investigations utilize information to predict possible corrosion problems and correct them in a proactive manner. Proactive activities can be utilized to identify potential corrosion management concerns before an event occurs. Informal opportunities for learning. Informal activities should also be considered as a means for capturing improvements to the CMS. Such activities may include, but are not limited to: 1. Personal concerns and suggestions. 2. On-the-job observations. 3. Potential improvements identified by employees or contractors through the regular use of the CMS and related procedures or documents. 5. Management of change. The MOC process shall be utilized when making changes to the CMS as a result of any continual improvement or other activity. Changes should be communicated appropriately to personnel who could potentially be affected by the change, and any necessary training should be conducted. See the video titled Chapter 10, Section 5, Management of Change in a Corrosion Management System, or number E32, for details regarding the requirements for management of change. 6. Monitoring and measurement. Appropriate performance metrics shall be in place to provide information that will help the organization improve the CMS and communicate pertinent information. A combination of leading and lagging metrics should be considered in an effort to provide the most effective improvement. Guidance. Lagging metrics are derived from events that have occurred in the past, such as corrosion-related incidents, non-conformances, citations, etc. Leading indicators are those which look forward and indicate potential problems that could occur if corrective action is not taken. Metrics should allow the organization to determine the following at a minimum. 1. Are appropriate controls are in place to manage corrosion risks? 2. How well is the organization conforming to the CMS requirements? 3. Are procedures that affect corrosion being followed as intended? 4. Is training being carried out in an appropriate manner and at appropriate intervals? 5. Are action items from management reviews and audits being addressed, tracked, and closed as required by the CMS? In addition to defining performance metrics, the organization should develop and document plans or procedures for collecting, processing, and validating the metrics, which include A. Organizational responsibility for collection of metric data. B. Required qualifications of personnel gathering and processing the metric data. C. Acceptable data sources. D. Timing limits for the collection and processing of metric data. E. Review and validation process for the collected and processed data to identify potential errors and uncertainties. F. Require format systems for raw metric data retention, retrieval, and analysis, as well findings from the metrics. Challenge number 36. Thank you for your time and attention. If you like to challenge yourself, please answer these questions in the comments below. 1. What's the management responsibility for implementation of a corrosion management system? 2. What's the difference between a corrective measure and a preventive measure? 3. For control of CMS documents, the organization shall establish procedures for the control and dissemination of CMS documents. What shall these procedures include?